Welcome back. And joining me now is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. Senator Schiff, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you.
Well, it's great to have you back. We appreciate it. Let me start on the boat strikes, what I was just discussing with Senator Tom Cotton. You heard his robust defense of these strikes. He says that they are lawful. Let me put this question to you, Senator. I know you haven't seen the video, but based on what you know, do you believe these boat strikes are legal?
No, I don't. They're unlawful, they're unconstitutional, and killing two people who are shipwrecked at sea is also morally repugnant. I agree with Tom. We should do everything lawfully that we can to stop the scourge of drugs coming into this country, but this is not at all lawful or constitutional. And frankly, if the Pentagon and our Defense Secretary is so proud of what they're doing, let the American people see that video. Let the American people see two people standing on a capsized boat or sitting on a capsized boat and deliberately killed, and decide for themselves whether they're proud of what the country is doing. I can't imagine people will be proud of that. And as you pointed out, the Manual on the Law of War makes it explicit that killing people who are shipwrecked is illegal, is a violation of law. And the most troubling thing I heard from Senator Cotton was when he said he really didn't matter what these people were doing on that capsized boat, whether they were signaling their distress and asking for rescue or what they were doing. It does matter. It does matter. And, you know, one point I would share with him, and that is I also think that all of these strikes are unlawful. They're a form of extrajudicial killing. These boats are not invading the United States in an armed assault. They're thousands of miles away. Some of them, maybe even this vessel, if reports are accurate, wasn't even heading to the United States. And for us to be engaged in this kind of unauthorized campaign of extrajudicial killing couldn't be, I think, a more clear violation of the law. The fact the administration may put a group of organizations, terrorist, narco-terrorist organizations, on a list doesn't change the legal ability, doesn't confer on a president the ability to kill them at sea. You can put anyone you want on a list. It doesn't make it lawful to say I can now kill them. And one final point, they've been very fast and loose with whether they know exactly who's on those ships or they're just saying they're associated with a terrorist organization on a secret list. And we need a thorough investigation to find out what the orders were, whether it was to kill everybody in an organization without knowing specifically who these people were, or what the situation was.
Senator Schiff, let me ask you, because Admiral Bradley did consult with the military lawyer in the room before that second strike. There were hundreds of uniformed civilian personnel at the Pentagon reportedly watching this operation. Wouldn't they have raised a red flag if they thought this attack was illegal?
Well, we can't forget the backdrop to this, which is it's been reported that the admiral in charge of Southern Command left that command, potentially over concerns about these strikes. The top lawyer in that command may have been fired or forced to resign. So it all depends on whether you bring in a lawyer to simply tell you what you want to hear. We have seen inspector generals pushed out. We've seen lawyers pushed out, top military lawyers pushed out. So you can always find a lawyer to give you the advice you want to hear. That doesn't make it the right legal advice. And having read that Office of Legal Counsel opinion that is still classified, I could say in the most general of terms that it looks like one strained legal argument piled on another strained legal argument piled on another. We are bootstrapping an argument that takes people that are thousands of miles away or more than 1,000 miles away, some of which who are not even heading to this country, who are not engaged in an armed attack on this country, and we are somehow labeling them invading enemy combatants to justify their extrajudicial killing. And that doesn't make it lawful.
Senator,
coming up with some legal rationale doesn't make it lawful.
Senator, let me ask you about the president's argument that he is making this week. He said, quote, "I think you're going to find that this is war." Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing. Now, the administration has not provided evidence of who's on the boats or what the boats are carrying. But what do you say to American families who do agree with President Trump's argument that these strikes may be making them safer?
Well, first of all, I agree that this is a scourge on the country, the flow of illegal drugs coming into America, and most particularly fentanyl, which is not what's involved in these boat strikes. But I would say this to the president. If that's the case, then why did you pardon the former president of Honduras, who, as you pointed out, was convicted in a massive cocaine smuggling scheme? It is simply the most blatant hypocrisy, and you can't explain it. Except, I think, when you look at what's really going on here, which is this is not about drug trafficking for the president. It's about regime change. It's about forcing Maduro out. And how do you rationalize pardoning the former president of one country for drug running and bringing in an aircraft carrier, bringing in a massive amount of sailors and other forces to try to force one president out when you just pardoned another for essentially the same offense? So none of it makes sense. The American people don't want to go to war with Venezuela. And yes, we should be interdicting people bringing drugs in this country. We should be prosecuting them. We shouldn't be simply killing people at sea who are not even coming to this country.
Senator, let me look forward with you, if I might. The president saying the U.S. military will begin targeting Latin American drug smuggling operations with land strikes, quote, very soon, including in Venezuela. You have introduced a bipartisan resolution that would effectively block U.S. forces from military action in Venezuela unless authorized by Congress. Do you believe that you have enough votes to get your resolution passed?
I don't know. I think it's very possible that we could. We had 2 Republicans vote with us. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul have introduced the last couple of resolutions. This is the 3rd resolution. And that number may grow as people watch what has just taken place and are appalled by it. One of the reasons that we began introducing these resolutions is we wanted to protect our troops who might be put in harm's way, but we also wanted to protect them not just from physical harm, but from legal harm. And now we have, everyone in the chain of command that carried out this strike on these shipwrecked people, potentially facing legal liability. That is not good for our country. It's not good for our service members. So I think the support for these resolutions is likely to grow, and it will grow further if the president follows through and actually releases this video to the American people, because I think the clamor that will cause will force my colleagues to support an end to these strikes.
Senator, final question here on the Inspector General report of that group chat on Signal that was used by Secretary Hegseth. The report finding that he ran the risk of potentially endangering U.S. troops when he shared secret information about military operations. Secretary Hegseth says the report exonerates him. You just heard Senator Tom Cotton say the same thing. What say you? Do you believe that this report exonerates Secretary Hegseth legally?
No, of course not. And it's another powerful reason why Hegseth should be fired. He should be fired over this killing of these survivors at sea, and he should be fired for endangering our pilots. That Inspector General report made it clear that his actions in using this commercial app to signal military strike plans ahead of those strikes endangered our pilots. It also endangered the success of the mission. That is more than enough reason to get rid of him. That kind of dangerous incompetence puts everyone at risk. His claim of exoneration is based on the fact that he has the authority to declassify information, and he is deeming it declassified because he went through this reckless step of, texting it out on Signal to a journalist and family members and others. But the threat to our service members and to the mission remained, whatever you call it. That material was classified before he sent it out, and I think it was classified when he did. So there needs to be some accountability, or other people are going to be put in harm's way.
All right. Senator Adam Schiff, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.